So in this video, I'm going to be sharing 3 things that you can do to enter a higher level of consciousness. Because people are always wondering, how do I vibe higher? So the truth is your natural state is a high vibration, a high consciousness. It's love, joy, and peace. So if you haven't seen the human scale of consciousness, Google it right now so you know what I'm talking about. It's essentially a scale of emotions, the lowest being shame. And as you move up on the scale and you get to love, joy, and peace, that is your natural state. That's 500 and above on this logarithmic scale of emotions. So love, joy, and peace is your natural state. And when you're carrying other emotions that aren't love, joy, and peace, like fear or shame or guilt or apathy, these are lower vibrations, lower states of being, it's a lower consciousness. So the way to get to higher consciousness is actually by welcoming what you're feeling and being in the current state of consciousness that you're in with less resistance, because your body already knows how to dissolve emotions that don't align with your natural state. It's when you resist and you contract, then they say stuck in the body, and then you are anchored at a lower consciousness because now you're carrying fear, shame, and guilt. So now if someone were to measure your state of consciousness, it would be low because you're carrying these lower density energies, these lower vibrations. So when you welcome these emotions, as much as it hurts and you don't want to feel it and it's so heavy, and I totally get why you would want to resist it, if you just soften your body when you feel these emotions and bring more awareness to what you're feeling instead of less, then you're not in resistance anymore and your body can dissolve these emotions. And when you dissolve them, you actually bump up really high on the human scale of consciousness by doing it this way, because that is what's underneath the other emotions. Let me explain what I mean by that. So if you've ever felt fear, and then you realized when you didn't feel fear anymore, you felt peace. You didn't have to force yourself to feel peace. You just felt peace when you were no longer scared. And it's like the same thing with shame. If you've ever felt shame and like judged yourself and judged other people and then dissolved some of that, you feel more love. You naturally love yourself more and others more, and you have less judgmental thoughts. You just naturally feel these things because they're your natural state. So you automatically jump to love, joy, and peace, 500 and above on the human scale of consciousness, when you dissolve the fear, the shame, the guilt, the apathy, and the other emotions that you're carrying. And you dissolve them by not resisting them. So that's the first thing you can do, the most important thing you can do to come into a higher consciousness. Welcome your emotions. And then the second thing is to expand on the lightness that you do feel and notice in your life. So that means when you do notice, okay, I'm feeling lighter today than I felt yesterday or than I felt last week, or I actually am starting to see some physical changes in my symptoms, if you have an illness, or you just start to see like different things showing up in your reality, focus on them, because what you focus on expands. So do this when you are feeling lighter. Don't do this when you're feeling heavy, because if you do this when you're feeling heavy, then you're putting ice cream on top of poop and you end up suppressing your emotions. And like I said previously, the most powerful thing you can do to come into a higher consciousness is welcome your emotions. So we don't want to be suppressing them by putting ice cream on top of poop and forcing yourself to feel positive when you actually feel like shit. So when you do happen to feel lighter and you do happen to see beautiful shifts in your life, notice them, bring awareness to them, feel the gratitude. It's not going to be hard to feel gratitude for something you're truly grateful for. Like if you're like, oh my God, I'm so grateful that I'm feeling lighter than I was last week. You know, I especially notice this, like if I ever feel sick, like I've been throwing up or something, and then I no longer feel like throwing up anymore, I'm like, oh my God, I'm so grateful that I don't feel like puking anymore. Like, it's just a natural thing. I feel gratitude without having to force myself to feel gratitude. I just truly feel so grateful that I don't feel as sick as I did like yesterday, you know? So, so blow up the lightness that you do notice in your life, the shifts that you do see, and be like, okay, I'm so grateful for the shifts that I've been seeing, and I would love even more, please, in this area of my life. think about it that way, like yes to the shifts I've been seeing, and I want even more, and I get to have even more because it's my natural state. That will really help accelerate things. If you're diminishing the lightness that's showing up and the shifts that are showing up in your life, then it's not going to accelerate things. You're just going to be moving at a slower pace than if you are really focusing on the lightness that is showing up. Blow it up when you notice it. That's the second thing that you can do. And then the third thing you can do is to get curious. So by get curious, you could be like, okay, I wonder what it would take for things to be different. I wonder what it would feel like if this problem just went away on its own. Like, it would feel so amazing if this could just be resolved effortlessly. Like, who would I have to be for this to happen for me? Just like asking like curious questions, like what would it take? Or even like, who do I need to be in order for this to occur? Or yeah, just like I wonder what it would feel like if this problem just got taken care of for me effortlessly. Wouldn't that be amazing? And like when you ask the question, you get into the vibration of the question. So just like, what if this could be easy? Like a lot of what if questions. What if this could be easy? Easier than I even thought possible. What if I am so taken care of and this could get resolved for me in a way that's better than I could have ever even imagined? That I'm so grateful that I'm that resourced. Like even by asking the question right now, like I'm getting emotional thinking about, wow, what if it could actually be like that? Like you immediately start getting into the consciousness and vibration of the question of like, what if it actually could be that easy? What if I actually could be that taken care of? So getting curious is a great way to come into a higher consciousness, because by just asking the question, you're coming into the consciousness of the question. You don't have to answer the question. Don't even try to answer the question, because then you're going to go into your mind. You're not going to be in your feeling body, accessing your power. We're not trying to get you in your mind. We're just trying to ask the questions to get into the vibration of the question, to really feel, and keep like playing around with the questions until you find one that actually gets you to feel differently. Like just like right now when I was asking questions, there was like one that got me to like start crying. You know, there was one that I'm like, wow, like what if I could be that resourced? Like, and it could be easier than I could have ever imagined. I could be that resourced. Like just thinking about living a life like that where I am not taken care of feels so light. So yeah, play around with the questions. So just to recap, the 3 things you can do to increase your consciousness: welcome your emotions, blow up the lightness and the shifts you're seeing in your life, bring awareness to them, because what you focus on expands. And number 3, get curious. Start asking what if questions to get into the consciousness of the question. So I hope you found that helpful. And if you do want to know more mind-body tools to increase your consciousness, I created a course on this. I'll put a link to it below if you want to learn more about that. But I hope you found this video helpful, and I'm sending you so much love.